Hi, my name's David. Today we're going to do number 821, shortest distance to a character. This is an easy level problem on LeetCode, and we're going to solve it in JavaScript. So basically, we are giving a string as an input and a character as another input. And it wants to return an array of integers where it's the distance between this letter to the character, this letter to the character letter inside of the array. So for this one, O is 1, 2, 3 distance away from E. O is 2 distance away. V is 1 distance away. E is E. So that gives you the distance absolute value of the index of the difference of the index for that one. So what we're gonna need to do, there's a more easy way to organize it by using a helper function to solve this, getting the distance. But the first function, the main one, how we're gonna do the shortest to char, we're gonna have to create an output array, and that's gonna hold the final answer we need. And next we'll have to loop through S. And inside this loop through, we will have to do our helper function. Helper function, and let's call it findDistance. And we're going to create a variable to equal it. Create variable distance to equal to a helper function find distance to find distance. So this function we're going to do later on, but this function is going to find a distance between the current character and the target character. And next we will have to push distance to output array. And lastly, we'll have to return output. And let me put this here so you know this is this function. And now we have to have the helper function, find distance function. And this is where we calculate the distance from each other. So create a condition. So one of the main, the starting point is that if it equals to the target, we know that we return 0. Create condition if the current character is equal to target C, return 0. And now we have to do the cases where it doesn't equal to it, and we have to find a distance. So we're gonna loop through outwards until we find it. So we know that it's not going to be equal to each other. So it'll be at least one pointer off. So we create a variable to j for this one pointer off. Create j variable as a pointer, j pointer variable to 1. And now we're going to create a while loop. Create while loop for j for the length of the array. So it's going to be in between this for the for j to be inside the length of s. And so when we have this while loop, we have to create a condition if the -1 before it is equal. So we start here and we see, does this one equal E? And if it does, we put 1. Create this to get the distance. J is the distance to target on both sides. And then if not, we will have to, and if it is, we return j, and if not, we'll have to increment j until we get to that point. And we're gonna put this in code so it makes more sense. So because like this one, we'll have to do we'll have to do a while loop until it gets to e, and that'll be 3. So that will be how you get that one. So put in code that output equals empty array, for loop for let I equals 0, I is less than s dot length, I plus plus. Now we create the variable let distance equals findDistance function, and that'll take in the I, what we're doing here, s and c. And then we'll have to push that to the array, output dot push distance, and we return distance. And that should be good for the first function. And then we make the second function, var find distance, and that's a function that takes in I, s, c. And inside this, we create the condition if it's equal to 0. If s index I is equal to 0, we return 0 if this is equal to c. And then if not, we let j equals to 1 for while it's in between it. So while j is greater than or equal to 0, or j is less than s dot length. We have to create the condition if, so when it is in between each other, the distance between going up 1 and down 1. So we need to do s, so we'll do the down one first, I minus j, if that is equal to z, so we get here like this, right? So we minus the j by 1. Or s, now you add it, I plus j is equal to z. So this is before it and this is after it. And then if it is, we return j. And if not, we have to go one more distance. So j will become 2. It'll be 2 distance until we get it, j plus plus. Here we have to return output. Great. Great. So what we have the time complexity. We know that we have to do a loop and then another loop, so it'll be O of n squared, and then space complexity will be, we're creating this array that's proportional to how long the distance of s is, so O of n. And that is how you solve this problem. Thank you.